Barry, I've always been fascinated with movie trailers. A lot of times you go see a trailer, you see the movie in the theater, and suddenly there's scenes that are missing. Now, this one, wasn't there a line when the alien spaceship is coming down that is in the trailer but not in the film?
Yeah, the trailer, part of the trailer and part of the teaser was shot specifically for the trailer.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so there are actually a couple of shots that and lines, especially from the teaser, that aren't in the movie. We designed it specifically for that, but in terms of the tone and attitude,
Yeah.
it's the same.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. Only in the last few weeks have I been seeing like clips with the aliens in there. Was that a conscious decision about not revealing too much in the
Well,
trailer?
directors and studios are often at odds because directors don't want to show anything because they think by the time the audience gets in there, they'll say, "Oh, I saw that, I saw that." And studios saying, "Show them everything so they can get into the theater." The other thing is, a lot of the aliens were computer graphic 3D animation, and that's the last thing that's ready. So the early trailers and teasers, just the stuff wasn't ready.
I got a question about Mementos. You worked on some really like high profile projects, and I'm a lot of our really collectible type mementos
Right.
on the productions. How often have you seen pieces of scenery props suddenly walk off?
Um, I remember a sad moment when we finished the first Addams Family, and it was now 2 years later, and they had decided to do a second one, and I flew into Los Angeles, arrived at the Paramount lot, and there were like trucks, driving around with like gravestones, sort of tied to their bumpers with like Louis hates Phil, and I was saying they didn't save any of this stuff, so that was sad. I personally don't keep any mementos from the movie because I don't want to define who I am by the fact that I direct movies. So I don't keep any. But that was my saddest moment, was seeing gravestones from the first Addams Family around the Paramount lot.
Now, a question about some of the tie-ins on this, the sunglasses.
Sure.
I love the way they look in the film, but at what point were the discussions about what type of sunglasses are going to be used in the film and that type of thing?
It's funny. On this movie, we never had the tail wagging the dog. We picked the sunglasses, and they just happened to be Ray-Bans. And then, as the film went on, and we realized there might be some commercial potential here, did they then approach Ray-Ban? Because unlike Disney movies, which have McDonald's, and Lost World, which had like $250 million in cooperative advertising, we had nothing when we got started. Batman and Robin, Hercules, Lost World, they already had all this stuff sort of built in. So we were very late getting started.
No, Tommy Lee Jones, I was just amazed how funny he was
Yeah.
in this film. I wasn't expecting it. He's an actor that a lot of press people are nervous interviewing. I'm scared actually every time I talk to him. I'm not quite sure where it's going to
Right.
go. But for you, were you at ease pretty much right off the bat with him?
Yeah, I was. I realized that Tommy was going to be incredibly funny in this movie as long as he never tried to be funny, which he didn't, and he's brilliantly funny. Um, I remember about 3 weeks into shooting, I was a little nervous. I knew he would be great in a movie, but I was a little nervous at first. But by the time we were into a couple weeks, I knew I was having a great time. And I remember saying to Tommy, Tommy, many years ago, my wife and I watched an interview with you and Leonard Maltin, and I said to my wife, God, I hope as long as I live, I'll never, ever, ever be forced to work with this guy because he was so mean. And I said, and look at me, I'm working with you and having a great time. And the thing about Tommy is he just wants information from a director. He wants strong opinions, and if you have them, he will respect you and love you. And I cannot wait to work with Tommy Lee Jones again and Will Smith again. And I hope the movie does well enough that someone pays us to do a sequel.
And one last question. This is for another story I'm working on movie perks. And no names are necessary on this, but have you ever worked with an actor who's made like really ridiculous demands on what they want in terms of trailers, or where you had to like bite your lip to prevent from laughing or getting angry? And I said no names are necessary, but
Um, movie perks are an interesting thing because although actors get paid many, many, many millions of dollars, that's some money they never see. It goes right to the accountant. They take their fee. The lawyer gets their fee. Then this guy writes the checks for the rent. So you never see the millions of dollars. All actors ever see is their per diem, which is several $1,000s in cash, and that's the only thing that makes them happy. It's not the millions. It's getting the cash every week. And then it's things like, campers and, cappuccino machines in the campers, because those are the real tangible items that they can touch and feel and say, I'm rich. And that's more than anything is the reason why I think some actors get caught up in perks, because it's the only money they really see. It's not like you will, every Friday get the check or whatever. These guys never see it. So for them, it's all about the cash and the campers and the cappuccino machines.